All praise is due to Allah, and we ask Allah to raise the rank of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. Today we are going to discuss and explain about the types of apostasy. The worst type of apostasy is what we call it in Arabic ta'til, which is in English we call it atheism. For example, if someone is atheist, he denied the existence of Allah. This is the worst type of apostasy. And the ugliest part of the apostasy, this now we are talking about the ugliest part, is if someone was initially was Muslim and he commit a blasphemy, this is we call it the ugliest type. And apostasy is of three categories. It's apostasy conventions in heart, and apostasy by saying by tongue, and the third one is actions by organs. For example, if you want to say that conventions of in heart, like someone who believes in his heart that something is not befitting Allah, and in saying by tongue is something like a person that uttered by his tongue. It could be like making jokes about hellfire, or making jokes about paradise, or making jokes about Islamic religions by his tongue. This is blasphemy. And actions by organs, like someone does any things by his organs, something like if he throw the Quran in the garbage, this is we call it apostasy of actions. Now, among the examples of this category, apostasy by conventions, is someone if he doubt about the existence of Allah. For example, if he's saying, if he by himself without uttering saying that, like in his heart, he might thinking that Allah exists or not exists. This is like a doubt. So this doubt is a blasphemy. The same goes for if he has doubt in the messengers of Allah. This means that he has in his belief that he is doubting that there is the messengers or not, or there is a doubting in his belief that there is paradise or not, or there is doubt in his belief that is there a hellfire or not. So this doubt is a blasphemy. This is the location of this in his heart. He didn't say anything, he just in his heart thinking about this, or he has a doubt, I mean. And among the other examples of apostasy is like attributing to Allah what is necessary to clear him by the consensus of scholars. Like, for example, if someone believes in his heart that Allah is body, or believes in his heart that Allah is sitting on a throne, or believes in his heart that Allah is image or has a shape, or he start imagining that Allah looks like this and like this, he committed blasphemy, because in this way he is belying the Quran, he is belying all the scholars, he is belying all the messengers, he is belying everything in Islamic knowledge. So if he has this belief in his heart, he committed blasphemy. Or if he believes that Allah is not just. And among the example of apostasy is like belying any prophet among the prophets of Allah, or belittling them, belying them or belittling them, any of the messengers of Allah, from the prophet and messenger of Adam till Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or by making any kind of jokes against them. This is what we call like belittling. Or another example is denial, like the rejection and contradiction of a matter known by the religion is by necessity. Let's say, for example, it's well known that marriage is permissible, is permissible in Islam, is lawful. If someone said, no, this is not permissible, or he believe in his heart that this is not permissible, this means that he is belying all the Islamic religions. He commit blasphemy. And the same thing goes for if something is unlawful and the person he believe that this is lawful, like drinking alcohol, is well known among the ignorant people and among the knowledgeable people that alcohol is haram in Islam. If he believe that alcohol is okay, someone to drink it is not haram, this means that he is he is believing that something lawful and at the same time it's unlawful and everybody knows it. It's well known between. You don't need to go and learn a lot of things in order to know that alcohol is haram. So the rule is, if someone say about something haram is halal and it is well known, like stealing or like drinking alcohol, this would be committing a blasphemy. And the other way, if something is like halal, like marriage, as per the terms in Islam, if he believe that this is haram, he commit blasphemy because it is well known that marriage is halal. And among the example of apostasy is denying and destiny of Allah by believing in the occurrence of a physical entity or deed of the heart or deed of that organ that is not compliance with the will of Allah Almighty. For example, people they might sin like everything is good is created by Allah, while everything is evil is not created by Allah, and this is blasphemy. قال الله تعالى من شر ما خلق في سورة الفلق. قال الله تعالى من شر ما خلق. This means Allah created evil and created the goodness, but Allah ordered us to obey Him, not to choose the evil, to choose the goodness. It's forbidden for anyone to say why Allah is doing this. This is blasphemy because this is objection. Allah فعال لما يريد. And among uh, these blasphemy that in the heart is by someone in his heart determined that he want to commit blasphemy in the future. If he said so or he believes so, this means that he commit blasphemy immediately. Example of the second category, which is the apostasy of actions, is like prostrating to an idol, which is the image or any kind of like status. If anyone prostrate to this status or idol, he commit a blasphemy. Example of the third and others like by organs, for example, as we said, like if he throw something like a religious book, not only Quran or religious book or the Allah's name, he put it in the garbage intentionally, and he knows that this is Allah's name he in his hand, and he put it in the garbage intentionally. This was have the intention that belittling Allah or the name of Allah. This will be blasphemy. And the third category, which is apostasy of saying, there are a lot, and we cannot mention them, all of them, because it depends upon case by case. But there are a lot that classified as apostasy of saying. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن العبد لا يتكلم بالكلمة لا يرى بها بأسا يهوي بها في النار 70 خريفا. This hadith was narrated by a Tirmidhi, and some hadith have the same meaning narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim, which means that someone might say a lot of things that he think himself that he didn't say anything, but he was like it's like joking or was in anger. He cares the Quran or he cares any of the Prophet or he cares Siyam or praying. He think that he was just like joking. Even if you are joking, even if you are in anger, if anyone utter any words that belittling the Shara, he will commit blasphemy. قال الله تعالى, there is an ayah about uh, people, if they were Muslim and they might utter something bad, they will be in hellfire. This ayah, قال الله تعالى, ولئن سألتهم ليقولن إنما كنا نخوض ونلعب قل أبالله وآياته ورسوله كنتم تستهزئون لا تعتذروا قد كفرتم بعد إيمانكم. This ayah means that if you ask some people, he might say that we were just joking, we're just like talking, we don't have any intention to commit any blasphemy, we're just like having a joke. Tell them that were you mocking, were you making a joke and mocking of Allah and messengers and angels? There is no excuse for you. You commit a blasphemy after you were Muslims. So even someone he might be Muslim, born by two parents like Muslims, and when he grow up he start making jokes about people, about the prophets, about angels. He think himself that he can go to pray and he can go and do act of obedience, but he committed blasphemy. Nothing will be accepted from him until he utter the two testification again. He must say أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله, with a deep sorrow in his heart that he will not come back to that kufr again. So as we mentioned before, there is no difference in judging with apostasy if when someone utters any of the blasphemous expressions, whether one said that I was in anger or I was joking, there is no excuse for this, as mentioned in the Quran. And the rule regarding the apostasy of saying, the rule is any saying that making jokes or mocking the Prophet or angels or books or any kind of Islamic religions that is well known to everyone, everyone who make jokes of this, he commit a blasphemy, blasphemy of the tongue, blasphemy of saying. And now, what is the obligation on the apostate? What he is has to do? Anyone who commit a blasphemy or became in a state of apostate, he must, he must, he must utter the two testification in order to come back to Islam and regret in his heart that he will never go to that again. He must say it either in English or in Arabic, on any language that having the same meaning of Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, with a proper belief. For example, if someone saying that I say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, but if he say that he's still believing that Allah sit on the throne, his Islam is not accepted, because he's likening Allah to his creations, and he's be lying on all the Qur'ans. Allah قال في القرآن الكريم ولا تضربوا لله الأمثال. This means do not liken Allah to anything. Allah قال ليس كمثله شيء, which means ultimately nothing likes Allah. So if someone saying that Allah sit on the throne or Allah has a shape, and at the same time he's saying La ilaha illallah, it doesn't help him, because he should have the proper belief in his heart. Now, you need to explain now the effect of apostasy. If someone was Muslim and he became murtad, for example, he commit any of the three categories that we say about him, there are a lot of effects that affect his life. For example, like um, the marriage contract will be not valid anymore. For example, if two couples are married and one of them they commit blasphemy, either the man or the female, if anyone commit blasphemy, the marriage contract will be not valid. So what shall they do? First, he should return back to Islam, and then they should renew their marriage contract. And if this someone was died while he's still an apostasy, he didn't come back to Islam, he shouldn't be buried in the Islamic buried land, and no one can inherit him, and he is not allowed to inherit from his relative. Let's say he is not allowed to inherit from his dad because he died as non-Muslim. And another thing that if someone is murtad and he you can't eat from his slaughtering. Let's say if someone he say la ilaha illallah, but he believe in his heart that Allah has a shape, and if he slaughter a sheep in order for you to eat, or a cow in order for you to eat, you can't eat from him because his slaughtering is not halal. Even if he use the knife, even use the proper slaughtering, but because his greed is not correct, you cannot eat from him. That's why people should be aware if they want to eat any lamb or any meat from any butcher. They should know that he has like a Muslim. So as we said that the apostate doesn't inherit from whoever dies among his Muslim relatives, and Muslim relatives don't inherit him as well. And at the same time, all his act of worship is not acceptable. I mean, he is not accepted for him to pray or to fast. So this is uh, the effect of apostasy. Just to summarize it, all acts of worship will not be accepted from him. You cannot give him the prayer mat to pray. It's not allowed for Muslim to give a murtad a prayer mat in order to pray because he know that his prayer is not accepted. His fast is not accepted. His fasting, any act of worship will not be accepted from him. Marriage contract will be invalid. You cannot eat from him as a slaughtering meat, um, and he cannot be buried in Muslim's land, and he cannot be inherited, and he cannot inherit from his family as well. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. In the third chapter, inshallah, we are going to explain about purification. And Allah knows best. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. رب اغفر لي وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات